Oh, you little fucks!
The drum beat's getting so intense.
Yes, bloody Coprolalia! We're gonna keep going with this beat for a bit. This is a podcast
where the cast is fresh and the pod is full of peas.
This is a podcast hosted by me and Giles, and we're going to talk about Kanye today and other things. We're going to talk about bad movies and Kanye. We're a couple of artsy-fartsy boys that make a podcast. We mainly draw and try and make you laugh.
Yeah, because your life is turning to shit.
I'm going to play some music to kind of ease us into this realm of discovery that we're about to enter together. We're at Barbara Bush's funeral, and they've got a drum. They've got they've
got Mongolian throat singers.
I couldn't think of anything more fitting for for a God-fearing lady.
Yes, and we must remember that she was a God-fearing lady, because that is how she wanted to be remembered.
Fear God.
The king of creation.
I imagine that is the playlist for, or that's the soundtrack to when the world was created.
What shall I add next? Let's put a planet here. A big burning star here. And a whole lot of little beings that can fear me. Ha 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 ha. And they can die, because that will be funny.
I saw a movie on the weekend called Downsizing, and I want to bloody talk about it because it was fucked.
Is it like Up in the Air with George Clooney, a movie about firing people from jobs?
No, but I keep seeing that up on Netflix, passing me by as I scroll through to find something better. And I always think, I kind of want to watch that because it looks really, really bad. Let me find out how what has Up in the Air got on the Rotten Tomatoes.
Up in the Air? No, I like Up in the Air.
It's a good film.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, this film's not a good film. This is not Up in the Air. This film I'm talking about is... Oh, yeah, Up in the Air got 91 on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's from the... Let me see what else. The audience thought... Gave it a 79. Pretty good. Downsizing. Let me search that up. Should have done so before I started talking about it. 51 from the critics. 22% from the audience.
Wow.
That's a hard fail. That's a bomb. It's technically an apocalyptic film. Okay. Also, spoiler alert. If anyone wanted to watch it but don't, it's garbage. It's really. I'll get into it. It's technically an apocalyptic film, starring Matt Damon, as well as some other huge fucking names, which we'll get into. But
like really long names, like huge names.
Like six-figure names.
I tell you who's a huge name in film.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, there you go. That is a fucking huge name.
It's a fucking huge name. Who's the... Owen Wilson is a small name.
It's a small name in cinema, yeah. I watched Zoolander the other day. I know you're about to talk about Downsizing.
Yeah, sweet. So you can talk about your thing.
Nah, just talk about Downsizing. There you go.
Yeah, I will. Starring Matt Damon, Christoph Waltz, who's bloody.
Oh, he's cool.
Yeah, he's great. Good actor, funny boy. Not known for his funny roles, but he's definitely got a humor to his work.
Yeah, the stuff he does for Tarantino, I consider to be slightly humorous. Like he's playing. He gets to play, like, characters that are, like, smarmy or something. I forget how you describe it. Like, a character that's enlightened by his intelligence.
Yeah. Smarmy is a good word. It kind of is it even a word? Smart. I spelled it wrong. Oh yeah, so the movie, fucking downsizing. It's an apocalyptic film starring Matt Damon in the lead role, and basically the world is going to die because of overpopulation and global warming. That's current day. Blah blah blah. And so the way they're going to fix this problem is by physically shrinking everybody down. To like it was something like an eighth or something. It was like something like 1% or something like that. They're tiny. Like
classic liberal move.
Well, that's actually kind of the point. There's this huge political drama kind of side to it. So that automatically, with the whole downsizing thing, like that automatically has a comedic value to it that everyone's tiny. And so you feel like it's going to be, it feels like it shouldn't be starring Matt Damon. It feels like it should be starring like the late Robin Williams or something like that. Like
or to be really insensitive. Don't do this to me. What's his name?
You're losing him.
The small guy who died just recently.
Oh, dude. Fucking mini.
Vern Troyer, is that it?
I'm gonna have to search Mini-Me. I'm gonna have to Google it that way. Yeah, Vern Troyer.
Yeah, you mean, so they should have used Vern Troyer is what you're saying.
He had a small name in cinema.
It says stunt performer, and the first thing I thought was stunted performer. Rest in peace, Vern Troyer.
He was an icon, and he was an amazing boy.
And funny, he's hilarious.
Yeah, from what I've read, obviously I never met the bloke, but apparently just really inspirational.
Very inspirational.
I only know him as Mini-Me. I wasn't following him on Instagram and following his story, but anyway, he did a lot of things. Fucking downsizing though. Let me get into this.
Yeah.
So it automatically has this comedic value, and there is comedy to the film. However, basically the first part of the film is so him and his wife aren't particularly happy in their where they are in their life, and they need to figure out a way to fix this. Now, downsizing, you take all the money that you have and you liquidate it and you turn it in, and then you use it basically in the money of the small. It's the same money, but like it means a lot more to small people because it costs a lot less for a ham sandwich when it's the size of a pea. So you start with nothing, or you start with very little. You start with a small house in the big world, and then you downsize, and now you have a giant mansion and fucking butlers and shit.
Yeah. I can't believe there are still butlers in the tiny world.
Well, that's the so this is the other thing. Okay, so again, spoilers, but fuck you. The wife doesn't go through with it. She bails on the idea, and then after he's gotten shrunk, so they both get separated, and they both get shrunk separately. But she bails. She is like, no, I can't do it anymore. She was trying to make him happy instead of herself, and now he's small, she's big. He lives in the small community. She lives in the big community.
Right.
So now it enters into... this is like 20 minutes into the film, I feel. So, but up to that point, it was quite funny and lighthearted because everyone's small, and how funny is that? Look at these small people. Look what they have to deal with. We're going to have a dinner party. Oh, we got one of these blokes sitting on the coffee table, and he's just like sitting down there with a tiny little jug of beer. Isn't that funny? And when they go to get shaved and downsized, so they have to get completely shaved of all their body hair. They have to get things like fillings and shit like that removed from their body, any false hips, whatever, you know? For that scene, everything is white, so it's like it looks like a really creepy, oversaturated sci-fi film where everyone's getting put into like a machine. Imagine like the Matrix, but everything's white instead of dark and leather. But the music they have is like xylophones and like upbeat, like oh, isn't this funny? It's like going through Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But if you had switched that music up to something just like, you know what I'm talking about, like that classic horror movie sci-fi thing where it's just this weird like, If you had that over top,
yeah,
it would have been
nice.
fucking terrifying. I'm thinking I'm actually going to go and take that part of the film and put a different soundtrack over top to just show the point that I'm trying to make with this film.
Yeah, perfect.
And so that was the first part. I was like, this movie does not know what it's trying to be. It seems very confused about itself. So then once they've shrunk down, then they go on to this is where the movie really falls apart for me. Is it's funny that we're doing a critical analysis of this film, but anyway,
you are. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it. Essentially, it then can't decide what it wants to be. So then it goes through like a dating kind of film, and he's kind of playing around with like, oh, my wife's gone now, I have to get back in the dating game, but everyone's small. This is my fucking issue with the film. Is up to that point, the whole being small thing was really important. At this point, it swaps over to, okay, now what do I do with my life now that my wife's gone and I've left everything I had. Now, the reason he left is because he's small, but the fact that he's small now does not play into the film in any way except for kind of a bit of a background information in terms of like, we're doing this to save the planet.
Why he's lonely, or... Yeah.
No, yeah, but the community that he's living in is amazing, and like everything's happy, and they don't even show like a giant downside to the community that he's in. So the whole being small thing is totally irrelevant, except for the fact that he's got a full-size rose on his kitchen table. That's kind of the only punchline at this point in the film. He has a big rose in a regular apartment. And you're like, what is the fucking point of this? You could have
so you're saying instead of it being a sci-fi movie with some romantic subplots, it's a romantic comedy with some sci-fi subplots.
For this portion of the film, yes. It flicks back though. So it does this, and then he meets this girl or this woman who has lost her leg, and he's like, "Hey, I remember you," which the audience doesn't. They don't fucking bring that up. Is that Joel bouncing in? No. Okay, I thought I heard Joel bouncing in. So then he meets this woman who is cleaning the house of his neighbor. When he goes to a party with his neighbor and he's cleaning a house, and she comes and cleans the house after the big party. Which immediately I was like, what the fuck is happening then? If everyone can liquidate all of their shit and have an amazing life here, why are there still like all these cleaners that are being treated like shit? This is going on way too long. So,
No, that's good.
I was shocked by this film. So then it flicks over into a new film where he is like, oh, I used to be a doctor, I'm going to help this woman. So now he goes to outside of this perfect little village, and he finds the slum. So it's showing that like, oh, look, everything seems so perfect for the small people. We've really worked it out, didn't we? Us, well, as you said, like us liberals, we really worked it out. And then just outside the border, there's all the people who actually look after the place. There's all the people who clean houses and who drive buses and shit like that. And they live outside of the walls in a community, like a slum that's built in a regular building. So it's like a little portable trailer has been parked outside the walls, but the trailer's a full-size person's trailer, and inside is a miniature city that's been built in this thing. And this is again
for the slummers.
Yeah, for the slummers. And then again, this is the only point you're like, oh yeah, that's right, they're in a tiny world. But it's not part of the film for most of it. For the first part it is, and then for this giant chunk in the middle where at first it turns into a dating movie, and then it turns into I'm gonna help the third world country kind of film. And there's only like these a few little elements, like the giant rose and the big trailer, where you go like, oh yeah, that's right, they're small. But fucking why? Why are they small? Why is it important to the film? Anyway, to cut this down, it also then goes into a romantic thing. They go on this giant journey to find a vault where they have built a tiny vault. I don't know how big let's say the size of a regular house, but it's obviously now it's a full city because everyone's tiny. So like the world's gonna end now. So now it turns into an apocalyptic film. So now it's like day after tomorrow, and so then they've built a vault down under the earth and say, oh well, now that we're small, we can survive. So everyone on the surface, they're all fucked, but we're tiny people, so we're gonna go down there and we're gonna live. And then he fucks the girl who was cleaning the house, and he's gone on this big adventure with, where there was no romantic tension until this one point when he was like, oh, she just fell asleep a little bit. I'm going to give her a little kiss, which is creepy. And then she's like, no, in super broken English as well, which really frustrated me, because she's been living amongst English speakers for a long time. I think, why is it that weird? Why is they making it that obvious in this film to be that her English is so bad? And she's like, no, I want. And then she does this bit later. She asks him, what kind of fuck was that? There are 10 kinds of fuck, or 7 kinds of fuck. There is love fuck, hate fuck, revenge fuck, all these, and it's like, what is this? What is this bit in this fucking movie from, what fucking year was this? 2017. What bit is this? And so that's the only way they construct this romantic tension between them, is through this broken English bit, because it is a bit. It's done in a exaggerated, trying to be comedic way, and then he comes out of the vault. He realizes, no, I'm not going in the vault. I'm going to stay with her. He comes back and runs back and says, you know what? It was a love fuck.
Whoa.
And G'day, Joel.
G'day,
Joel, everybody.
What's up?
Are you recording your audio?
Yep.
Sweet.
Right.
We're talking about the movie Downsizing. If you've seen it, starring Matt Damon.
Is that the movie where they try to make the Earth more sustainable by shrinking everyone?
Yeah. Anyway, fucking hilarious. So there's like 4 different movies in the one film, and it can't decide what it wants to be at any point. And it keeps being really, really serious, and having these slightly comedic characters or backdrops, but the actual movie isn't really funny. Except for the last part. It was the funniest. I haven't laughed this hard at a movie in a long time, but I don't think it was intentional. After this giant, long, stupid adventure and all these different tones, they have this final scene where it's really serious. But he does slip that line in, saying, "No, it was a love fuck. But I'm gonna stay here with you. I've decided that, like, no, I don't want to go down there. I'm gonna stay up here with you, even though they're clearly the better chance for human survival. I'm gonna stay up here with you because we're in love."
So it's essentially the maid.
Yeah.
Why can't she?
Yeah.
Why can't he shrink? Why doesn't the girl shrink that he loves?
Oh no, they're all shrunk. That was another point I brought up before. You'll have to listen back. But basically, the whole shrinking down thing, that only plays into parts of the film, and for a big segment of the film, you totally forget that they're small, and it's totally irrelevant to the storyline and to the points they're trying to make. And then, so after all this, there's this big serious scene. It's like the final dramatic scene where you're supposed to feel something, and then they're like, "Oh shit! They're gonna blow the entrance to the vault, sealing them all inside and guaranteeing their safety for the next 6,000 years." Like they hide behind a building, and again, you have forgotten by this point. You have completely forgotten that they're small. Like, this is not part of the film. And they hide behind a building, and then you hear, and it's like, it's like a model. It's a model of the thing because they're small, and so there's this tiny little explosion, and it falls across the door, and the movie fucking ends on that being the punchline of this 2.5 hour long bullshit film. And I fucking pissed myself laughing.
That reminds me of a
funny
gag in Ant-Man. Do you remember?
Yes,
Have
exactly.
you seen
Yes.
When they're on the train and then the trains collide, and instead of it being this like epic derailing, it's just like 2 trains hitting and falling over sideways.
It's like that. It's exactly that moment, but you took 2.5 hours to get to that, and they haven't done any other jokes like that. That was the only time they did a physical gag like that, except for the fact that they had a giant rose. But it wasn't slapsticky in a way. It was just, they just had big things in small areas, and that was kind of funny. But this was the only kind of slapstick bit that they did, like in Ant-Man. Ah! Holy fuck, this is a big fucking long rant, but I was just blown away that how the fuck did this movie get made?
Because Matt Damon was behind it.
They had big names. Yeah, fucking, and who else? Kristen Wiig was the wife.
Yeah, she's in fucking everything though.
Anyway. Good.
I like Kristen Wiig, but I swear to God, there must be like so many producers in Hollywood who are just like, we need a female who's funny.
Yeah, totally. Maybe they should encourage people at the bottom of the industry to pursue it, and then they wouldn't have this issue of, we've only got 2 women that are funny at the moment.
The other is Tina Fey, by the way. They're the only 2 funny women.
That's that whole argument of people saying like, women aren't funny, which obviously is absurd, and we're not gonna even credit that with a response. But the same people as well, like saying, women just don't get into jazz, women don't get into sound production, women don't get into the arts. It's like, have you been to a jazz club or been to a guitar shop? It's just like a fucking testosterone-filled, like...
full of women.
You got to start at the bottom. If you don't encourage people, if you don't have an encouraging environment at the bottom, of course they're not going to make it to the top. Because, anyway, that's the moral of this story in Downsizing. Encourage women. Encourage the little people.
Encourage Vern Troyer. What did you get up to on the weekend, Joel?
I ran a viral event.
Sorry?
Yeah, what?
I ran an event.
Oh, wow.
In the park.
Oh, yeah, the poi.
What?
Pardon me.
Yeah, the poi.
I feel like I didn't know much about that.
I put it on Castlemania.
We also talked about it on the last podcast.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
How'd it go?
Yeah, pretty good. People came down.
I'm not joking.
A few nice people. They were nice, but they were just... they just swore loudly and stuff like that. They were just around. I was like, no, I want to make this like family friendly kind of thing going on, and they were just...
Yeah.
I think they turned a lot of people off being there, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah, that's a pity. I think
like I want everyone to be there, and I'm cool with it being there, but I just I need more people to be there to stop those people deterring other people away.
Yeah.
This is my last bit on Downsizing. The supporting the woman in it who I felt was played up too much the fact that her English was so bad. It wasn't bad. It was just like it felt like a very exaggerated stereotypical role, and she won a fucking award for that role as well.
What?
Yeah, like a Golden Globe. It's like, fucking come on.
What?
She's been in other shit as well. She's been in Inherent Vice. She's got...
What is her name? What's her name?
Hong Chow.
Really?
Oh, here we go. Downsizing Breakout.
Is her name Hong Chow?
She has some comments. She has some comments on the... on the accent, sorry. But this
is her name Hong Chow?
Yes.
Okay, alright, cool. I thought you were joking, but...
What? No. No, I'm not joking.
That's the kind of thing I'd say if I was going to make a stereotypically racist name.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah.
It's like saying, and the... I don't know, who's the boss on your construction site? His name is John Smith. It's like, no, that's not a real name. You made that up.
Some people, there's a lot of people who are called John Smith, and I understand why.
My grandfather was called John Smith.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Alright, that's my rant on Downsizing. This is probably taken up a fucking half of the podcast. What else
I've got some quick comments about Zoolander.
Go. Do it. Actually, this is good. The first half of every podcast that we do is usually about movies. So that's good.
What were you going to say, Joel?
Fuck Zoolander.
You don't like it?
What, the first one?
Fuck.
You saying fuck? Are you saying fuck the first Zoolander?
I don't know. I just never liked that humor.
Okay. Fuck
Jokes.
Yeah, I like smart humor.
Oh.
It is I think it's a smart movie. To be honest, but
all the people do is like they quote. They're just like, yeah, let's make a school for kids who can't read real well or some shit. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Anyway, the guy who co-wrote Zoolander, because I was just like, oh, I wonder what else he's done, and the first thing that popped up was just this article about how the co-writer of Zoolander had shot himself in the head, like a few years after it came out.
Because he didn't like it or something, or?
No. I mean, I think Zoolander's a pretty like landmark sort of comedy for American culture.
Yeah,
and I think it's respected quite a lot. But
I agree.
But
dude, the pinnacle of comedy.
What?
I'm gonna find the YouTube link.
We'll put it down. We'll put it down in the description.
I don't think Zoolander's a pinnacle of comedy. I'm saying as an American comedy, it's like a very regarded comedy.
Yep. Now,
or a classic formula or something. It just worked.
It's the motherfucking pinnacle, man.
Donald Trump's in it. How fucked is that?
We'll link to whatever Joel's talking about in the description below.
Yeah, Donald Trump appears in it for just this moment, and he just says like, "I'm a big fan of Zoolander." Blah 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 blah.
Huh? Oh yeah. No, too.
At the beginning, he's on the red carpet.
Yeah. What were your comments about it?
Oh, I just wanted to say that the guy who co-wrote it with Ben Stiller shot himself in the head.
Oh. Well, good to know that fact.
That sounded like Donkey Kong.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. So that's our that's our first movie half hour.
We don't have to make that a thing. The movie first half.
No.
Let's talk about arachnids.
I actually mentioned spiders earlier. I think that's a good idea.
Arachnids. Let's look up cool spider facts.
Cool spider facts.
All right, let's jump on some cool spider facts.
In Australia.
Wow. FactRetriever.com. Well.
This is the build-up. These are the sections where you put in a little bit of like music as like a segue
right.
for the spider facts.
For those listening, this is all going to get better.
Yeah, spider fact time, corner.
You know what spiders sound like? Oh, Joel, still going. What's up, Joel?
Spider facts. Can you put an echo in there?
Yeah, I'll fix it up later.
Spider echo.
Here, we'll do one after the other. You do a fact and then I'll do a spider fact.
And I'll play a
thing. I'm gonna find one.
Oh yeah, okay. We're still in the segues. Alright, I got a fact. God damn it.
Stupid podcast.
There are around 40,000 different species of spider.
Joel, go.
Alright.
Anytime.
Sorry, I was just vaping.
Spiders are found on every continent except Antarctica. Was that your fact?
No, you just took... I gotta do two now.
Alright.
Go.
Number 76. Most female spiders are bigger than the male spiders. Unlike insects, spiders do not have antennas. And that's it for Spider Fact Corner
Spider
2000
facts.
Echoes.
Which one was it? Oh.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week on Spider Facts.
Come and watch us on our Lava Lamp episode. Where we talk about lava lamp facts.
Alright, I'm penciling that in for next week. Lava lamp facts.
Damn.
Alright, well, let's do another segment. We're here live at the red carpet with Kanye West. Let's
Oh
get
yeah,
some,
yeah.
Let's get
Let's
some.
analyze the tweets. Like
Yeah.
we'll do one tweet at a time and just discuss what we think he means.
So we go on Kanye's Twitter.
Yeah. All right. He's been tweeting up a storm lately, which usually indicates that he's got something coming out, and he's apparently announced 2 albums, which is pretty exciting.
Cool.
Self-victimization is a disease. Discuss.
I'm
Self-
supercharged, about to take this whole thing to Mars.
Nice.
That's one of his tweets.
Oh no. Yeah. We're gonna discuss the tweet as well.
We're not gonna just read them out.
Yeah. That
So
would
which
just
one are
be
we
epic.
reading?
All right. All right. Here we go. This is how the segment is gonna work. There was
No, I liked the tweet you read, right?
Great.
The self-victimization one. Read
Great.
that
Yeah,
again.
where's that? Where's that? I wanna
Oh
see
my
it.
god. Apologies for the listeners. Here we go. Here's a segment for you. Kanye West tweeting out self-victimization is a disease. Giles, discuss it.
Boom, 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 boom,
Ah,
boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Okay,
I found
I can agree with this somewhat. So, to so if your only concern is to figure out where you place in some sort of oppressive narrative, specifically to figure out what you're entitled to, the kind of like I want to say like emotional compensation you get for being in a place of victimization. I think you're directing all your attention away
Whoa.
from what you're actually capable of, and so I think you can send yourself into a depressive state by just focusing on the ways in which you are disadvantaged, and basically it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy when you start placing
This is hard to
yourself
read.
into what?
This is hard to react to because your audio is going really wacky, which will sound fine on the podcast because we're recording this separately. But for me, I've got no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This has just turned into a mess.
This is good. All right, that's Giles' hot take on self-victimization as a disease. I'll listen back and we'll enjoy. We'll react to that later. Here's another bloody tweet for you. People respect people for following the general trend and consensus. Go.
Yeah, that's just a basic thing to say, I think.
All right. Tweet. No, yeah, I didn't expect more. I'm just reading random ones. Let me find one that was exciting. I did have one that I thought was really I really liked. Let me just let you find it. I think it's. Let me just quickly say. Obviously, we've discussed Kanye a lot before, but the fact that a lot of his shit. Obviously, he just has this kind of stream of consciousness style of talking, and there's a lot of shit that comes out. But having that no filter, having that lack of filter from somebody in the position that he's in, is genuinely
Valuable.
exciting. Regardless of everything he says, like some of the stuff he says is not obviously worth anyone's time, but in general, I think it's really worth listening to him because he has got a perspective that a lot of people can't have or can't give because they're not in that particular position. But then also, obviously, don't fucking treat him like a goddamn god.
I have a what's the term? Example or something. I have something to say that is with words. Imagine Leonardo da Vinci, yeah?
Yeah.
Just picture him in your head for a moment.
Go. Yeah.
Now,
Got
he's painting the Mona Lisa, right? But he's live streaming it.
Yeah.
And he's actually painted over that same canvas, like, I think it was something like 8 times. They found like 8 different paintings underneath it.
Yeah.
Basically, if everything you were doing was being like criticized as it was coming out, you'd just encounter so much unnecessary, unuseful, unfocused trash.
I like that point a lot. It's very modern, a very modern issue with art, which I don't think it's an issue. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, I think it can be good too. Because some artists actually have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if we just took Kanye West, if we just looked at his best albums, I think people would just straight up consider him a genius. Most people discredit him solely for the way he portrays himself on TV and in interviews and shit like that. Like his public persona creates that difference of opinion with people. I think if we just looked at his artwork, then you would get a very different idea of him. And so, but he's constantly live. Like, he's tweeting, he's interviewed, he's fucking everything. If the greats that we would consider in terms of the greats of art and greats of music before our time were constantly being shown to the public, if everything that they did was able to be put out at such ease and to so many people, you would see a lot more shit from them. Like, I can't remember his name. I think it was Bach. Don't quote me on that, but it was quite common back in the day. Like, all these great composers a lot of them were working composers as well. Like, they had their biggest hits, essentially, the greatest hits that everyone remembers. But there's also just a shitload of stuff that they wrote for whoever was in charge back in the day. So if they were working under a king, or if they were working...
Yeah, they were patrons, and they had to compose for the people who were basically funding their existence, yeah.
Yeah. And so if you went back and listened to all that, I'm sure, like, because of the name, people would still go like, oh, wow, it's so fucking amazing, so incredibly technical and clever. And obviously they were very talented people. I'm not discrediting them at all. However, you can't expect one artist or anyone to just constantly put out perfect work, but everyone remembers the greats as if they were just these perfect visions and perfect versions of what an artist can be. And we don't have that nowadays. People will say that we don't have geniuses like that anymore. But someone like Kanye is just so constantly broadcasting, and he's still just a guy, and just as anyone is just a person. So yes, you're going to see a lot more shit nowadays. But looking back on it in 50 years or 100 years, we're going to see just the best parts that survived and meant the most to the human spirit in general, that survives the test of time. And we'll look back and think...
There's plenty of Bach compositions, there's plenty of Leonardo da Vinci's paintings that really no one knows about or cares about, and that's fine. That's how it is.
Yeah. Kanye West, 2018. If you want to see the true character of a person, watch the way they treat someone who can't do anything for them.
Yeah, I like that one. Is Joel talking to his mom?
I think he's talking to somebody. This is, I think, with art being obviously so centered around social media nowadays, things like jamming, I think... Okay, so coming from a band's perspective, back in the day, not that many years ago, but when I was playing more live music with people, with you, Giles, and with Wade and other people...
Yeah.
Jamming was a much bigger part of it, and that was probably the most fun part as well, and the output was kind of a big deal. But now, being centered around social media, obviously the output is more constant, and again, this ties into what we're talking about.
Keep in mind that bands before social media were still jamming so that they could put together an output that would be shared with the masses. That was always the intention. For some bands, for every band that made it big, that was the intention. Yeah.
I guess I just see a lot on Instagram, social media, other places, of artists commenting on other artists' artwork, and you can pretty quickly tell that they're just commenting on this artwork or something because they know they can try and get something out of it. They can try and get another follower, or they can try and get a or they can try and get a shout out, whatever, you know. So that's actually not really totally playing into this tweet, because this tweet is talking about people who can't do anything for you. But I still think that I think people are on the hunt for anyone who can just further their social media identity even more constantly, and I think that's detrimental to a lot of people's lives.
Yeah. I think it's there's a phrase about how we've got a sea of information but only a drop of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's the internet. Basically, you're gonna run into a bunch of people talking shit for an hour.
Yep.
Eventually.
Hey, Giles, my
Yeah.
brother and your sister have been hanging out at Latrobe.
Which brother?
Up Patrick.
Oh yeah. What? Can you tell him to fuck off?
Oi, Patrick! Why'd you just go fuck off?
Yeah, tell him to fuck off.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that or not.
Well, fucking tell him
Hey.
again later.
Sorry about not talking too much, but I've just been reading about some lava lamp facts.
Research for next week is a fucking brilliant idea.
We're gonna give you a teaser. 24-year-old Philip Quinn was found dead in his trailer home Sunday night by his parents.
Good fact.
I'll tell you the rest next week. How he died? Nobody knows.
On Lava Lamp Facts.
Yeah.
All right. I think you'll have something to say about this one, Giles.
Islam?
Let's be Kanye West 2018. Let's be less concerned with ownerships of ideas. It's important that ideas see the light of day, even if you don't get the credit for them. Let's be less concerned with credit awards and external validation.
Yeah, this is like a little sidetrack, but is there another is there a voting thing again this year?
An election?
America? Yeah.
No.
So why is it Kanye 2018?
No, it's Kanye 2020, I think.
I'm
No, 2020.
I'm saying Kanye 2018 because you put the person and the quote and the year they quoted it when you quote someone.
Oh,
I'm just being.
I thought it was like an election thing. I thought it was like, yeah, Kanye 2018.
these are on his banners, like on his campaign on his campaign trail. Fucking Kanye 2018. Cars have 4 wheels. Hoodies have hoods. It's amusing to me when someone says this is an original hoodie, bro. It's a hoodie. Kanye 2018.
I'm voting for Kanye.
Anyway.
You ain't voting for Yeezy? I'm voting for Yeezy.
You ain't got no Yeezy in the White House.
You ain't got no Yeezy.
Do you think Kanye West, obviously, I don't think he's got any fucking chance of winning an election, but then fucking Trump did, so I guess that doesn't really matter. Do you think he's going to do a worse or better job than Trumpy boy?
Better.
Dude, he'd probably do better. He'd just be friends with all the guys. He'd just be, hey, I'm Kanye. Hey, Putin, I'm Kanye.
There's too many white people in this building. I gotta change that around.
I feel like
that's
he's
actually
gonna turn the White House into the Black House.
That would be so funny. Paint the whole thing black.
if he put a fucking Nike swish on the side of the building, it'd be amazing. I feel like obviously everyone thinks Kanye's got the biggest fucking ego in the world, but obviously now that we've got Trumpy boy up in the White House, I think we can discredit that argument.
Yeah,
but
actually,
I think Kanye would
point.
actually have his ego would not be fragile as much, where he would actually say, you know what, I don't know how to do all this shit, and hire a whole bunch of people who know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, yeah. So I think this is the number one issue with the idea that presidents actually do anything, is that you have a council of people. I've put my mouth really close to the mic, so I'm going to bring it back a little bit. So yeah, by the time that Donald Trump or Kanye West are in the position of power, they have this big council of people who are just like, look, all of these things are already in motion. We're going to do these things. We've been planning them for decades.
Yeah.
And you can't stop them.
Yeah.
And that, or basically the hoard of information that you now learn in the privileged position of president. So say every single atrocity your country has committed that has been under wraps, you are now aware of.
Yeah.
The current atrocities being committed, the future atrocities, they're all on the table. You are now culpable for all of them because you're the president. And you can either oust yourself and your country, or you can continue being the criminal that everyone pretends you aren't. Was that controversial enough?
No, that just makes
I'm
sense.
pulling out my nipple hair, man.
There are actually some really good tweets. I totally agree, Giles. There are some really good tweets in here that would work as pretty good slogans for his political campaign, Kanye 2020. Kanye 2020 is we're all servants. Kanye 2020, today will be the greatest day so far. Life keeps getting better and better. Let's see. Kanye 2020. Kanye 2020. Truth is my goal. Controversy is my gym. I'll do 100 reps of controversy for a 6-pack of truth.
Yum,
Vote
yum.
Vote Kanye.
Yeah, Joel, we started late, so we're going a bit later.
Dang it. Alright.
If you want to take off, you
I need to stay to the end. I got something I want to fucking say.
Say it now.
Cool.
This episode is just all over the fucking shop. You can do what you want.
Fuck you, Connor.
No, that's not a good segment.
We should have a segment. We should have a new segment. Hang on, I'll get a thing right.
Welcome to How to Make Love to Bats.
Jesus Christ. What we got? What have we got left?
You grab one wing in each hand. You hold it down.
And you whisper in its ear.
The
Bat, oh bat, make me fat. And in the hat will become a rat. Look upon the sky at the full moon, and then I will be a vampoo.
Sound like a beat
get
poem.
some bat poon.
Yeah.
Spiders do not have teeth, so they cannot chew their food.
We
Instead,
fucking done?
they inject digestive juices into the innards of their meal, and then the spider sucks up its innards.
Like an Eskimo lady.
Some spiders eat their webs and then reuse them. That's pretty interesting. What's your next topic, Rai?
I think we've touched on it before, but
Tell us about Kalani.
Did you know that
okay,
cows...
yeah. That seems a pretty good.
yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good topic since we're talking so much about Kanye. Just the importance of celebrity in society and what your guys' opinion is of it. So, a friend of mine texted me on blah 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 one day, can't remember, Saturday maybe, saying, "Hey, there's this person coming to town. And I'm gonna go see them at this store. Do you want to come?" And I said, "Fuck nah." Sounds like a whole bunch of bullshit. She then texted me a photo of the line, and it was out the door. It was like, this is okay. So, person is called Kalani. The celebrity is called Kalani. She's an R&B singer. Had a song with Cardi B, pretty huge. Anyway, there was a line up the alleyway to the door of this store, and then down the other block. So that's basically 2 blocks worth of line for this person, which isn't, I guess, that much for a giant super pop star. But what frustrated me was this person was just coming to a clothing store in Melbourne, and all she did was she went in, she took some photos with some clothes and some selfies with her fans, and then left. Didn't actually play any music or anything like that.
Wow.
And just all these people stood out in the laneway for hours for that, and I was like, the fuck was that? What was the point of all that? It seems a bit strange to me.
Yeah, that shit annoys me.
Yeah, I don't know. Who the fuck? That's why I hate going to concerts and shit. It's just like, I don't want to fucking stand shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of random cunts just watching this music. I can put in a fucking headphone.
Well, see, that was my reaction. I was thinking, like, why would you put in that much effort just to see a person rather than see them do a thing, or to see them do the thing that you love? But
you're not even friends or anything like that.
So, however, do you think things like that? Because you could kind of argue the same for all kinds of different things. Like people get. I get, obviously. I don't understand going out and being in a crowded, smelly stadium eating shit food just to watch some people play cricket for 9.5 hours. But is all these things just bringing people together? And am I just being cynical and thinking that? Do you think?
No, I think idolatry of that level is a cancerous thing. Because, I mean, not only do you actually really fuck with someone's life when you are obsessive...
Yeah.
Like, if you're a celebrity and there are people waiting outside your windows in the bushes so they can take photos of you, that would be a really invasive and just uncomfortable thing. And there's also a level of celebrity where you actually just can't go to Macca's and buy 2 Big Macs at the same time.
Callback.
You just, like, I would hate that. In fact, if I was this person, this Kalani person, I couldn't go to Big Day Out, I couldn't go to Coachella without just, like, people harassing me. Well, not harassing, obviously they'd be really kind or whatever, but, like, you can't stand in the crowd and watch Foxygen.
Okay, well that's true. But this was a scheduled event. Like, people knew this was coming. People knew that she was going to be at this store. So yes, totally agree. And I think people should leave celebrities alone, because that during their day-to-day life, that's rubbish. That would be an awful existence.
If I want to go to Woolworths and buy a 6-pack of fucking V's, I don't want to have to take 20 photos with people. This is definitely not a problem I have. but and might not ever have, but I would imagine it's bad.
But the idolizing people. I guess I don't know her music. I've listened to a little bit of it, and I don't find it particularly exciting. But I'm not gonna pass judgment on the music people are listening to. But we do it all the time. We do it with other people. Like, obviously, I idolize Kanye. I idolize Jack White. A couple of names off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Bloody Elon Musk.
There are different styles of idolatry, though. Like, do you listen to Jack White and then
furiously
like
finger my butt?
And then buy the same guitar as him, buy his clothing, and then start talking like him?
I mean, I would argue that every band I was in for a good while was trying to be the White Stripes.
Right. The Astros was not trying to be the White Stripes.
No, the first iteration of it was, though.
Yeah. No, yeah. I getcha. I was just like, the stuff that we were doing with the Astros was definitely not White Stripes.
Yeah.
But no, what I'm saying is, you can really truly respect someone's outputs, but if you're gonna start like getting facial reconstructions so you look more like Kim Kardashian, you've gone too far.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. There's just going to be a level to all of it. I don't think
There's a level to literally everything.
Yeah. I just seeing this many people out there screaming and going bananas over it. I was like, I don't know how I feel about it.
Let's get rid of hysteria. I find it fucking nauseating.
It's surely exciting to feel really excited about one thing with a whole bunch of people. That's why people trash their cities after they fucking win a football match, which makes zero sense. But it's so easy for that to turn toxic real quick. Yeah. If you're not paying attention. This is why fucking this is a bit of a stretch, a bit of a jump, but this is when religion gets too far, you know? Like if you get everyone riled up, then the mob mentality quickly takes over any rational thought you had. And you can be pushed to do weird shit. You can be pushed to do all kinds of dumb shit. So shout out to Kalani.
Kalani, check her out at the video store in about 2 weeks' time. She's gonna be renting There's Something About Mary.
That'd be great. That's absolutely what I would do if I was a huge celebrity. I would go to really weird shops and promote those stores. Like go to a lava lamp shop and buy a lava lamp, or go to like the last Blockbuster Video and rent Star Wars Episode 1.
I think Blockbusters are staying open in like a novelty sense.
In where? Sorry? Audio cut out.
Yeah, I actually saw my audio fucking up just then. That was weird. Oh, what the fuck? I think Blockbusters are staying open for novelty reasons.
Yeah.
Some people do still want to go to a Blockbuster to talk to somebody who's talking about the current movies and whatever.
Yeah. I kind of like that. I like the idea.
Yeah, me too.
This is a bit different, but like same reason as you go to a cafe when you can make a pretty decent cup of coffee nowadays at home with better and better home espresso machines. Slightly different actually now I say it out loud. Anyway, there are good reasons for brick and mortar stores to stay open. However, brick and mortar stores probably just need to put in a bit more effort to have that relevance, to be more niche, and they're never going to have the same popularity or importance as they used to, obviously. And
brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
Is that a term, or is that?
Yeah, just a physical store over an online
store.
Yeah,
brick and mortar. Okay, right. I thought you were just talking about stores that sold bricks and mortar, and I was like,
They're probably safe. I haven't brought any bricks or mortar online. I don't see it happening. We're rounding it up. We're finishing. This is like the end of a show. This has been a fucked show today.
Yeah, bit of a mess, but some genuinely funny moments.
Yeah.
But we're learning.
If you have jumped to the very end of this video just to see what the end of the video is like, guarantee there's some gold in there. So go ahead and listen back. Listen back twice.
Listen to our spider facts.
Spider facts are fun.
Lava Lamp Facts is going to be a great one.
Yeah, tune in next time for Lava Lamp Facts and more Joel, just more Joel all around.
Give us some Joel.
Yeah, Joel. Give them a taste of what they're going to experience next week.
Just put that beat on.
Yeah, give them a beat.
Yeah. Welcome to Spider Facts. Here's the 101 on spiders. Did you know that a spider can have up to 8 legs at a time? That's your taste.
This has been Coprolalia, motherfuckers.
Yeah. This has been Spider Facts. We're changing the name of this podcast.
Spider Facts and fucking bats.
Join us next week for Lava Lamp Facts.
Spider Facts.
Spider Facts.
I'm a Spider Facts.
Okay.
Don't give me no Spider Facts. It's time for me to fuck a bat.